Greg, who has been recruiting at St. Edward's for at least 2 years now, I believe. And he is joining us for our final session of the Just-in-Time Online Career Fair for today. We have 3 more sessions tomorrow. So Greg's going to talk about the opportunities available at Fastenal, and I'm going to go ahead and turn over the presentation to him, and then I will come back at the end and take any questions. So please feel free to submit those to the chat or the Q&A functions at the top of your screen, and if you can, please have those submitted to all participants so that we can see the questions. Greg?
Thanks, Andrew. I appreciate you and your office for letting me be a part of this. This is a pretty innovative way to get some information out there, and hopefully by the end of this, with the next 30 minutes, if you haven't known something about us or known us at all, you'll at least know that and have some good info. We're looking to hire some full-time and part-time and have some opportunities for some internship credit all in that Austin area right now. And so I'll kind of start out just kind of giving you the overview about Fastenal and get a little bit more specific into the roles and the specific jobs that we have here shortly. But I am Greg Hickson. I'm district manager. I cover the Austin area, so I go everywhere up to Cedar Park, Georgetown, down through Austin, San Marcos, and the west side of San Antonio, where I'm officed at and where I am today. But if you see those slides, first slide there is who is Fastenal? What do we do? Multi-product category industrial supplier. We're selling everything from fasteners to tools to safety products, you name it. Really, the options are endless. We're able to really sell, redistribute, manufacture anything that you need to build a building, manufacture products, repair equipment. We're selling those types of things. We do have a local store-based business model, which means we have a retail environment that is close and accessible for customers to come to, and we run our businesses out of those stores. And so we have about 6 stores in the San Antonio area, about another 6 in the Austin area, and our customers know where to find us. They can walk into our store and they can have access to our inventory and access to our people, and that's really the company is those stores out in the field. We have over 2,700 of them, most of them in North America, but we are global, and talk a little bit about more in a minute on that. But going back to when we started in 1967, selling fasteners. That picture in the left-hand side of that slide there is the original store in Winona, Minnesota. The owner's dad had an automotive shop next door, and they knocked a hole in the wall so that he didn't have to have another phone bill, and you know, he was able to start selling fasteners out of that building right there, and kind of opened up more markets, more product lines, and continue to expand. In 1987, we went public and continued to grow from there. We've been one of the best performing stocks since 1987, outperforming Apple, Microsoft. Really profitable company. Today we have, that number is actually closer to 20,000 employees in our stores, in our distribution centers, in our corporate office. It's Woolies. So, you know, we talk about fasteners. That's our number 1 product category. But here's all the other things we sell. Fasteners being how we started, we're great at fasteners. That's still our number 1. We are actually the number 1 fastener distributor in North America. But our second biggest category is safety. We're the 3rd largest safety supplier in North America as well. So we're a legit company selling hard hats, safety vests, fall protection, ladders, hydration products. Those are all consumables for us. I'm drinking my ice cold Fastenal water here today. But then we also sell tools and equipment, chemicals and paint, electrical, plumbing supplies, janitorial, welding, you name it, everything that office supplies. And so if there's anything that these companies can use, they fall into several categories that we're able to handle and sell and provide them very well. This is kind of a representation of our stores. I kind of shortened this. There's about 4 slides that kind of looks like a cell phone coverage commercial, but This one shows 60-minute drive to a Fastenal, and the other slides were 30 minutes, 15 minutes, and obviously the blue grows kind of like the cell phone coverage, right? But anywhere in the country, you can tell some of those gray areas are pretty rural. You got the Rocky Mountains, you got some desert, but for the most part, we cover a big chunk of the population within a 60-minute drive to our store. And in a market like Austin, like I mentioned, you can get to probably 15 stores within an hour of where you guys are sitting right now. And in each of these stores, we're stocking locally stocked items, product that customers can come in same day and purchase what Amazon's doing and making products available to you quickly in a short amount of time. That's what we've been doing for 50 years. We learn your business and we have product that's available and on hand at all times. This is kind of just a quick representation of the Austin market. It's hard to see the Google Maps there, give you red dots for all the Fastenal locations. The one closest to campus is over there on East Ben White Boulevard. It's about 1.5 miles from campus there, so it's really close. There's also a North Austin store on Breaker Lane. We're in Cedar Park, Georgetown. We're in Pflugerville. And then some of the outliers there, you can see Marble Falls, San Marcos down the bottom, and to the east you got Rockdale and Giddings. And then, you go north, we're in Temple, Killeen, Waco. Lots of opportunities within 2 to 3 hours from where you are to work in any of these stores. So talking more about Fastenal, I talked about the products that we sell. And rather than thinking that we're just a transactional supplier that provides fasteners and tools and supplies, we also offer innovative solutions. This is our industrial vending program, and I found out this week we had our customer show in Nashville that we just installed our 66,000th machine out in the field. Our competition altogether had about 8,000 or 9,000 machines total. This is a program that we've really revolutionized in the last 7, 8 years. But what it does is it allows product to be available to any of your employees if you're the customer. It allows the product to be available to any of your employees 24/7 with a controlled environment, meaning that it's not going to just be sitting on a shelf or sitting on a counter, sitting on the desk for free reign, people to steal supplies and abuse and lose product and lose money. We're actually going to control the distribution of that. And the way we do that is we'll put safety supplies, we'll put consumables, we'll put $40, $50 bottles of Loctite in a vending machine. A person in your plant, to be able to access that Loctite, they have to enter an employee ID number. They are going, and you think about the procurement process. That's creating some huge cost savings for that customer. And it's these types of innovative solutions bringing value and savings and profitability to their business that really helps us grow and helps us improve our business. Because when we do these types of things, it's not about who sells the cheapest Loctite, who sells the cheapest gloves or the cheapest fasteners. We don't want a price war with our competition. We want to provide a value, and we want to partner with our customers. That way, if a competitor comes in and says, I'm going to sell you cheaper supplies, cheaper safety products, it's not about pinching pennies on the gloves. It's about reducing consumption and saving money. Limit waste to reduce consumption, sometimes north of 40, 50, 60%. And so if our gloves are $1 more at that point, it's fine, because they're really saving in a lot of the indirect costs associated with that procurement process. The next thing is obviously the cost of that process is expensive. Sometimes I've had a customer tell me that 8 or 9 people touch that product before it actually gets to the person that has to use it inside their facility. And so it's not uncommon to say, hey, a cage manager that manages the inventory realizes, hey, we're out of this. They go and call purchasing, who orders it. Purchasing then calls a vendor. Maybe it's Fastenal or maybe it's another supplier, but now you have to wait for that product to come in. Maybe it's 2 days, maybe it's a week. But it's really kind of a drain waiting on that product. Maybe somebody's not able to do a job. Maybe somebody's doing a job that they shouldn't be. Maybe themselves in danger because they don't have the proper gloves or proper eye protection. It's a really expensive process should something go wrong there. But then you finally get your product, and now it goes to receiving. Receiving cuts the box open and gives it to quality control, who double checks to make sure it's right, and they tape it back up and give it to an inventory guy, who now he can go and finally put it away. And now the guy that needed that item in the first place finally has the opportunity to get that item. And think of all the salaries along the way and all the paperwork that's been done to order that. It's a really expensive product. And so with this type of system, what we do is we engineer a system for their planned purchases, the critical items, the cheap, pain in the neck. I hate having to call around or go shop for these things. You know how many you use, you know how often you use them. Build them and engineer them into a system like we're offering through our vending program. And the first person that touches it on our customer's payroll is the person that needs to use it. We're managing the inventory levels. We're replenishing it. We're monitoring it. We're making adjustments. We're doing maintenance. We're restocking the machines. And that's huge value. And we quantify it. We make sure to put values to that and actually give it to the customer and show them, hey, you know what, Mr. Customer, I really appreciate your business. We've grown, 20, 30% with you. Generally, when you do that with a vendor, you're spending 20 or 30% more than you did the year before. But while you're doing that with us, we also save you 60, 70, 80% on these supplies. And we're able to put that in front, and that really kind of builds a partnership rather than us just being a transactional supplier selling them things. So sorry to camp out there a little bit. I'm passionate about that. I talked about the products and everything we sell. If there's one thing that we push and one thing we sell is value. And it's through programs like our industrial vending that really help us give us the edge competitively. We also own our own world-class distribution centers. We have 15 of them in North America, and over 7,000 vehicles now that move product from those distribution centers to our facilities daily basis. So as I sit here in San Antonio at 412, I can decide in the next 30, 40 minutes if I want to order products from this store, and if it's stocked in that distribution center, I can have it here at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. And so there's a lot of advantages to having our own fleet. We don't rely on UPS and FedEx, which is expensive, so it's a cost savings for us. But then we can also dictate our own schedule. We're not necessarily having to have your orders ready and loaded. So it really gives us a lot of advantages. Our nearest one is in Denton. That's our regional distribution center. They stock about $20 million worth of inventory there. And we have automated retrieval systems. We have people picking large items, small items, sorting things out, and obviously we employ all the drivers and all the people involved in the logistics of what happens there. We also have the backing of thousands of trusted suppliers. So we do manufacture some of our own products and our own fasteners, but a big chunk of our SKU count is distributing other brands and other lines. And so a lot of these might be familiar to you. 3M, Loctite, DeWalt, Brady, Milwaukee. These are household names, and so these are all suppliers that we have great relationships with, that we have great purchasing power, and they can really help us out and experts in the field. So we work closely with representation in South and Central Texas area to service our customers. Sometimes as sales reps, we might not be as well versed in any one of these particular lines as somebody who works for Loctite or works for Brady. And so what we do is we partner up and we'll go visit our customers and make joint calls as a manufacturer and a distributor to go out and take care of our customers and land some business that way. So layman's terms, and I kind of read this a few times. I don't know how layman this is, but this basically describes really how we go to market. We make vast amounts of industrial supplies available locally with personalized, face-to-face service while creating business-to-business partnership with our customers. And so, next couple of slides will kind of break that down. But when you think of that in comparison to what a lot of our competition is, a lot of our competition is shrinking their reach, shrinking their footprint. And that slide of the United States I showed you earlier, where you see blue. There's more and more blue added every single month, every single quarter, because we strive to get closer to our customers. We don't ever want our customer base to have a 1-800 number that they call, or the UPS guy that brings in all their products. For us, if you're my customer and I'm your sales rep, you have my cell phone number. I live here. I'm local where you are. I wear a lot of hats. I run the business, and I am your go-to guy on everything that you do. And so that really kind of drives in that local, personalized, face-to-face there, and bold and underlined there, and really drives home the message on what type of a relationship you're going to have with us as a vendor. And it drives back right to partnership, just like I was talking earlier. We don't want to just be a supply house or a place you can order things from. We really want it to be a valuable partnership for our customers as much as it is for us. So here's a few strategies for going to market in that way. I did mention retail, that we operate out of retail stores. We have the office space. We have some inventory room. But when I talk about the product lines and I talk about stores, that's when you automatically think and go to Home Depot and Lowe's and Ace Hardware and those types of places, and that's not really what we are. And so I won't break down this whole slide, word for word, but those things that are on the left really explain what the retail environment and truth be told, part of our business actually is. Customer initiates it, they walk in, we react. It's transactional, and so all of those things happen in our day-to-day, but it's so much a smaller part of our business than the right side of that slide. It's a business-to-business. We're salespeople. We're initiating that contact and interacting on their turf. We're going to their plants, their job sites, their facilities, and we're really initiating the conversation and the partnership. We're using that opportunity to learn their needs. We do it on a regular basis. It's really focused on the solutions and the value and the relationships. And everything there on the right is really probably about 80% of our business. We really follow an 80-20 rule. The old 80-20 rule is 80% of your sales is going to come from 20% of your customers, and 20% of your sales is going to come from 80% of your customers. That's kind of our approach in the key account programs that we develop in our stores. It's also a good way to explain our market strategy, that business-to-business piece is going to be way more than 80% of our business. That retail side is going to be 20%. That's going to be the guys that go to Home Depot and they don't have it, so somebody suggests they walk into our doors for the first time and see if we can help them out. But then there's also the element of the business-to-business side where we have these relationships. We've given the solutions, but sometimes unexpected purchases come up. And so those same accounts in that 80% group I'm talking about venture in and come into our stores and pick up things like anchor bolts or brake cleaner or some simple things that we have on the shelf available to them. So, but that's really our two-way market strategy there. We have great stores. We have nice within the stores. We have very nice people running those efficiently, doing really well. And then the big chunk is we have our general managers of our store. We have account specialists. We have outside salespeople going out and doing the marketing and knocking on doors and visiting customers and developing those relationships. And that's where the big core piece of our business comes from. So these next couple slides kind of talk to you about who our customers are. And I mean, no limits when I say anybody, but these are the areas that we do really well with. That first one there says original equipment manufacturing. These guys are the people that are producing a product. It's Dell making computers. It's Toyota making Tundra trucks. It's people that are making equipment, and we might sell them supplies that actually go into that equipment. Another big category for us is MRO. It's maintenance, repair, and operations. That's going to be the guys servicing Delta Airlines at the airport. That's going to be the guys that are doing your auto shops, your body shops, any types of repair in your facilities, even manufacturers. But in those manufacturers within that facility, you have janitorial, you have maintenance, and those guys might be managing and servicing the equipment that makes their product. And it might be a lot of different environments. Right? Kind of everybody outside of manufacturing and construction falls into this category. The next slide will kind of show you a couple more. Construction, demolition, we're very active on job sites with general contractors and subcontractors. We like to have the relationship with those types of accounts so that when they do a job, we're involved in that. We're supplying hardware and safety and other consumables, but then we also get a lot of the unexpected, the unplanned purchases that happen over the course of a job site's lifetime, that they call us and we react and we service them. In the government, that's the one I kind of loop into MRO, but cities, schools, hospitals, City of Austin is a big account for us. We service them through several branches, but servicing the City of Austin, if you guys have ever gone to any events over at the City of Austin Convention Center, we supply the soaps, we supply the hand towels. We sell some things to St. Edward. St. Edward is a customer of ours. We work with maintenance, but Texas State down in San Marcos actually buys all their air filters from us for all the student housing. So those are all coming from Fastenal. And then you get into the medical fields and other areas too. So there's a lot of industries. But when you look at our product lines, really it's limitless. I mean, think of any company or even an individual that doesn't use it, whether it be tools, office supplies, paper towels. Hopefully everybody washes their hands and uses soaps and paper towels. Really when you think of this, there's nobody that's not an account for us or a potential account for us. It's really about developing a relationship and becoming an outlet and a source for what they can buy. We actually have some people in Dallas selling energy drinks and janitorial supplies to chains of gas stations. So, it's the quick stops and nooners, and we've sold hand dryers in the bathrooms. And so really anybody's a potential account for us. So here's a couple of characteristics of successful salespeople from what I've seen as a district manager and a general manager at this company going on 9 years. And I think this not only applies to Fastenal, but to any company and anybody interested in sales with any type of environment and situation. But, you value relational building. If you're just there to transact and sell something and move on about your business, you might do well for a while. Your product's got to be great, but the good salespeople value that relationship and building up that partnership with somebody. Actively acquiring knowledge. I guarantee you, the first day with Fastenal, you don't know anything. The first week, you learn a lot. The first month, you learn a lot. It's amazing after 6 months how much you figured out. But it doesn't come because we give you a manual and tell you this is how you learn, this is where you go. It comes because you interact with customers and you learn a whole lot from them. Personal discipline, sales is all about that. You got to push yourself. A lot of times sales is about commission. A lot of times sales is about looking for that next opportunity. You got to be disciplined and drive yourself in order to be successful. Personal attributes, you got to be able to demonstrate good characteristics. I'll talk about those. But all turns into the personal skills. That's something people are naturals at, and then there's something that people can learn. Interpersonal skills can be developed. I think I've been kind of an introvert that figures out how to do well with sales and work with people and do really well. So that's something that you can be a natural at and do really well, and it's something if you like it and enjoy, you can work at it and do well there too. These are our cultural values. These are the things that we look for in every single employee that comes to work for us, because this is the way that when I have 50 people in my district and they're going to interact with people every single day. I want to make sure that those 50 people represent myself and my company the same way that I would try to make sure I represent myself to those same accounts and those same customers. I might never have the opportunity to meet some of those accounts. It's going to really depend on what happens in those interactions with those guys on a daily basis to figure out if we're going to ever have a chance, if we're ever going to develop a relationship and have the opportunity to meet. So for me, cultural values is ambition. You got to push yourself. Innovation. This company, we grow double digits year after year after year, and it's because we've had a lot of really innovative people along the way adapting and changing this company and kind of constantly making sure that the direction is going in a way that's good and what our customers are looking for. Integrity, people have to like you People have to trust you if they're going to buy from you. And so people can see straight through that. If you're not somebody of high moral character and you're not somebody that's gonna be trusted, you're not going to be successful. And teamwork. You know, we're a large company, $4 billion in sales, 20,000 and plus employees. We talk about how we're global. We have our own manufacturing facilities. We do all these great things. But what it boils down to is in South Austin, there's a 6 or 7 man team that's really working hard to take market share. And that 6 or 7 man team is really working hard together to achieve that goal. And you know the old adage about the weak link. And if somebody is a cancer or a problem and doesn't work well with people and work well with each other, the whole team suffers from that. And so I think any one of these things or a combination of 2 or 3 of these things makes for a really good person. But as far as a Fastenal employee and a good salesperson in general, you really have to have all 4 of these. And so that's something that we really look for. So, you know, when we get down the road, we start talking about some interviews. Those are the, you know, this is the answer key portion of the discussion. But when we do those things, this is the result. We double in size every 5 years. You see the little glip? I won't avoid that. That was the recession in 2009, and also my first full year with Fastenal. So that was the education in its own. But you can see that we've bounced back and we continued to improve. And really, what that means is more opportunity. You know, I think that's a pretty conservative number on that slide that says we want to hire 7,000 people in the next 3 years. I think that's going to be an even bigger number for us corporately. There's a lot of great things in the company that's really pushing us forward and doing really well. And so I'll talk about some of those on this slide, but kind of the things you see there on top is our traditional store sales roles that we have. Part-time, we have several St. Edward students that work with us right now, getting great education and experience while they finish school. It's a great flexible job to have. You know, you could work as few as 12 or 15 hours a week. You can work as many as 28 hours a week. But we're open Monday through Friday, 7 to 5. So it helps you create a good work-school life balance that doesn't overwhelm you. You're able to make good money, get good experience, looks great on resumes as you go, and really be able to focus on school and extracurriculars without burning yourself out. And so there's several of those opportunities all over Austin right now, and I'm going to encourage you guys to check those out. But kind of the next step is with us through graduation, and we get you into our sales training program. And we have a couple of those positions posted for those of you graduating this semester. It's time to go to work. I know you got a couple of weeks of finals and a couple of last hurdles to clear, but one of those things you should be thinking about is what you're going to do. And obviously, we do have roles right now that we want to fill in our North Austin store in Cedar Park. And so I'm going to make sure to give you some instructions on where to apply for those. But what we do is we put you through a 10 to 12 week program that basically gives you a similar education to what you would in our part-time job. We put you in that program and we crash course you on some sales. You're going to do some training. You're going to do some hands-on things. But it's going to let you experience Fastenal and what we have to offer at a better pace than trial by fire. You're outside sales. Here's your accounts. Good luck. Call me if you need me. And it's going to be a very valuable experience to you. And from there, you jump into outside sales, and that's when we give you your book of business and you run it like you own it. You're responsible for your accounts. You grow it. You improve it in your territory, and you can really prove what you're capable of and learn the industry and learn the environment, learn the products, and really set yourself up for a manager position. Because through these part-time, the sales training and the outside sales roles, we're teaching you the operations and the foundation of the store. As a manager, you run the financial and the operations of the store. You also sell your key accounts. And so through those 3 roles to prepare for manager, you're really learning how to become a better business owner, how to become a business manager, how to handle your market, how to take market share, how to grow. And so after you've been a successful part-timer, after you've been a successful sales trainee or outside sales, the only other thing we look for in a manager is leadership. can you get a team of people to do what you've done as a salesperson? And if you can, we want you to come in. Realistically happens in about 2 years. And that's where the real opportunity is. There's a lot of people hiring great part-time jobs. There's a lot of people that have entry-level outside sales positions. But you have to look at those and think about where that's going to lead you 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Are you still in that role? Is there a career path and actually visualize and see happening? And for us to think 2 years out of college, you can be running a business for us. You can be in charge of one of those 28, maybe by then 3,000 stores, and running it like it's yours. That's the whole thing. And what drew me into Fastenal was ownership, having the ability to. Maybe I didn't have the money to start my own company, but Fastenal gave me the opportunity to run a business and handle my market and have some ownership in it. I made my decisions on my labor, on my inventory, on my sales strategy, and my plan. And that's what I do today. I'm a district manager. I became a district manager after 5 years, and I've been in this role almost as long as any other role. I'm going on 9 years now, and I do the same. I run my 10-store district like I own it. Of course, there's corporate structures and guidelines and things that we follow, but on a day-to-day basis, I'm executing and driving that strategy. And so there's a really good, clear plan that you can achieve in 5 to 10 years, and you can continue to grow with this company. And that's the biggest opportunity for us, and biggest opportunity for you as new graduates getting close to wrapping things up. There's also a couple positions I want to point out on that slide. Account specialist is an important role that sometimes we have a really large account that takes a lot of men to run, and that account specialist role is putting somebody focused onto that account. Industry specialists kind of work regionally. That's when you really enjoy and you really got a niche for safety items. We're going to have a safety specialist that is going to go and do extra trainings, extra qualifications, extra of everything, so that they can be more engaged with safety managers out in the field. And so they're still going to work with the stores and interact with myself and the branches, but they have an extra level of expertise. And so we have industry specialists in metalworking, manufacturing, safety, government, and we also have a vending specialist in our area. The on-site account rep is kind of the next step from that account specialist. This is somebody that actually we develop a relationship and we are moving in. That's the term on-site. We move in with the account. Maybe that's somebody that we go and visit and service 3 times a week. It gets even busier. We go 5 times a week, and next thing you know, we're out there 4 or 5 hours a day. A lot of times that account will develop, and they say, you know what, why don't we give you a little space? Why don't you plug in a computer here? Why don't we create some efficiencies? And we actually move in with the customer. How cool is that? That's not something that Amazon's able to do yet, and we've been doing that for years. But on-site account reps basically report to work every day at the customer facility, and they have dedicated space, and they manage all of their procurement and inventory processes. And so the on-site account rep is another role that does that. We also have on-site general managers. This is a program, our on-site program, that we used to do 5 to 10 new facilities a year without trying, just servicing our customers and turning into that. We've actually started marketing our on-site program. We opened, I think the numbers, we did like 80 plus last year. And we did about 120 plus last year. We've already done 80 plus here in the first quarter of this year. And so to me, that goes back to the slide I showed you there, more opportunity. You know, we don't open street stores like we did when I started with the company. We're not like Starbucks putting a branch on every corner, but these on-sites are really creating a lot more opportunities for people that are doing really well, and you know, at a place where I've kind of felt the last couple of years in Austin, where we may or may not open more stores, we're definitely going to land more on-sites. I just came back to Nashville with 3 on-sites getting ready to be signed before the end of the month. That's 3 more managers. That's 3 more account reps. That's several more sales and part-time people that I'm going to have to fill roles for. And so I'm really excited about the opportunity that Andrew mentioned, for 2 years I've been recruiting St. Edwards and talking about the opportunity. This is where the opportunity comes to fruition. So a lot of good stuff there. Kind of wrapping this up, here's kind of how you apply. Our success depends on you. Obviously, everything I've talked about, what makes Fastenal do well, what makes us succeed, it's all about people. So think about the core values. Think about what a good salesperson, what good customer service is. If you like those, if you enjoy those, if those are important to you and you have fun with that, I want you to visit our website, careers.fastenal.com. There's an online application. You just enter in the zip code. That Ben White store is 78751 or 78741. Sorry. There's positions there. There's positions in North Austin, Cedar Park. Do the search by the zip code, and they'll all come up. You can complete your online application, submit a resume, and you'll get a phone interview from HR, and then we'll start setting up some local interviews after that. But feel free to reach out to me. Shoot me an email if you have any questions. You can reach out and learn about Fastenal and all our social media outlets. I'd encourage you now more than ever, it's a good time to check it out because our customer show is going on in Nashville this week. And I was up there from Monday to Wednesday and still going on. So a lot of those platforms have a lot of feedback, information, and pictures that you could see. But there's my email. There's my contact info. You can reach me on my cell. You can email me anytime. I'll respond to you. But I want to make sure you get in and complete some of those applications and start having some conversations because we have some immediate roles that we are wanting to fill right now. So I'll turn it back to Andrew, and if there's any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer those.
Greg, thank you so much. Actually, there are a couple of questions. Can you talk a little bit about what happens after somebody applies? What is the next
Sure.
step?
So after you complete your application, like I said, I would recommend send me an email just so that I can watch for it and make sure to prioritize you. But after you complete the application, you will get a phone interview from our HR department in Winona. And so I think they try to call you one time. If they don't, they'll send you an email and just say, hey, call this number between 8 and 5, and you can complete that quick phone interview. Once you do that, they'll send your application to me, and generally it's 2 interviews. And actually, it might even be 3 interviews depending on schedules. But you'll interview with 2 district managers. I'm basically the Austin guy. We have a San Antonio guy. We also have a Waco and College Station guy. So you'll interview with 2 of us, and you'll also interview with the local store manager. That would be kind of your direct supervisor and main point of contact once you get onboarded and are working with us. So it's important to that team chemistry for them to like you and you to like them and to have that chemistry there too. So there's really that 3-step interview process. And we can even do it if you're unsure about what we do and what the day-to-day is like. We do an optional job shadow, which allows you to come in and spend 2 or 3 hours with us and just maybe get a little dirty, do a little work, go on a couple sales calls, see some interactions, and just really learn and see what a good fit is for you. So that's kind of that process. And then from there, it's once we extend an offer, everything's conditional on a drug test. Pre-employment drug test, so we do that. And then we also need to get a motor vehicle record from you, because in any of these roles, you're going to be likely to get in and drive one of our company vehicles. We have to get you on the insurance. Just make sure there's not any outstanding DUIs or excessive number of speeding tickets or anything that might complicate that insurance process. But that's it.
I think we have a participant who has perhaps had experience applying with Fastenal, and so I think the question is there still some sort of test that's involved?
That's a good question. For a few years, we had this long, complicated assessment where, personality, you answer questions different ways and go through, and I think it was about an hour-and-a-half process. That is on. All you have to do now, you complete that application, and you attach your resume, which is something you couldn't do before. You did the assessment, and that told us everything we had to know about you, right? But now you complete the application, you attach your resume, and then we go right into that interview process.
For somebody who maybe is not super familiar with all the different products that Fastenal sells. Um, should that be a deterrent for them? Is that do they need to have like a good base knowledge of those products?
I don't think so. I mean, obviously, if you're selling something, maybe it helps you to have an advantage. But for me, and in my experience and what I've seen, I almost kind of prefer you to not know anything about Fastenal or fasteners or tools. I almost prefer you to kind of be a clean slate, because then we don't have to change any habits, mentalities, or misconceptions. It's really an opportunity to get in and learn everything that you need to know. So for me, in college, I worked at Lowe's and I worked in the hardware department. And so when I heard about Fastenal and I came over, I thought, oh God, this is great. I work hardware at Lowe's. I know everything about nuts and bolts. There's nothing else they can teach me. I'm going to do great my first day. Well, my first day I got there and I realized I didn't know anything about fasteners. All I knew was what Lowe's had on the shelf. If I didn't have it, I couldn't help anybody. And so it was kind of a situation I had to get out of my own way and really put myself in a situation to learn. But the other, the big example of selling supplies for Fastenal that I kind of compare and contrast with is, think about the guy that sells life insurance to college students. That there's a couple difficult things there. If you're selling life insurance to college students, it's a hard sell because college students generally don't budget and plan to spend money on something so far in the future. So it's tough to convince them that they need to buy your product. And in the same note, that life insurance salesman has to be an expert in his field because college students generally don't know much about life insurance. So when they're talking with a life insurance salesman, that person has to know and be able to walk them through, and they have to trust that they know everything about it. For us, we're almost the exact opposite. Our customer is a very warm customer. They're buying we're selling industrial supplies to industrial consumers. They need it. It's just a matter, are they going to buy it from you or are they going to buy it from somebody else? And then the other end of that is that they're experts. They're licensed plumbers, electricians. These guys have been in their fields for decades. Maybe they're manufacturing one particular product. There's no way that whatever they come in and ask you for or call you for, hand to you in their facility, there's no way that you're going to know more than them. And that's true as on your first day that you work there. That's true on your 10-year anniversary, your 25-year anniversary. You're going to learn a lot over time. But the real key is not so much killing like you have. The real key is going to be being open and being comfortable outside of your comfort zone, if that makes sense. Knowing that, hey, I don't have to know everything, but I'm willing to ask and I'm willing to learn. And if you're willing to do that, you'll surprise yourself, one, in how much you learn in a short amount of time. But then you're also going to realize that relationship is the most important piece of that sales process for us. Not necessarily knowing that product, but developing that relationship and communicating with the customer, asking, maybe I don't know exactly what this is, but I know I don't have any on my shelf, but this is Fastenal. I can order it. I can get it. Just tell me something about it if you have some time. And yeah, sure, I've tried them all, and I can't find it, so good luck. Give it a shot. Okay, great. Well, how do you use it? What does it do? What's a good one? What's a bad one? What brands are there? What don't you like? And that customer is going to teach you everything you know about this thing you didn't know anything about. And that's also going to help you develop that relationship with the customer, because you didn't just tell them, hey, go try Ace Hardware, try Lowe's, try Home Depot. You actually took time to learn about him and learn about his job, and that's going to go a long way in helping you take care of him, but also take care of the next customer that comes in looking for the same thing, and then also developing your book of business and your relationship. So to me, product knowledge is way down the line of list of importance in regards to doing a position and being successful with us.
I think what was really interesting to me is the emergence of the on-site positions and the on-site, stores. Because I know for many graduating seniors, they're thinking, well, I don't necessarily want to sit behind a desk all day, and this does seem like the kind of position that has a hybrid of activity throughout the day. That's, I'm sure there's a lot of your traditional sit at the desk and those kinds of activities, but there also seems there's also other pieces of getting out and meeting with people, et cetera.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I mean, the you know, you think of this traditional store position is, you know, the outside sales role is 80% of your time on the road visiting customers, going to their plants, going to their facilities. That other 20% is processing quotes and orders, and that's some of the desk stuff you may be thinking about, you know, answering, you know, responding to customers' requests and receiving in trucks and doing those things. In the on-site model, I think it's very similar. That I think a lot of that, you know, paperwork management, processing orders, receiving in trucks, I still think that amounts to about 20–25% of it. The big part of it is still servicing that account. You know, you think of a customer, if you're an outside salesperson, you have 100 customers, maybe you have 120 people that you interact with within those 100 accounts. But in a customer that we're going on site with, or even one that we're not on site with if we're in that account manager role, you're going to have a customer that might have 20, 25 contacts. You know, I mentioned San Marcos, Texas State buying from us. That's one of those long-term potential on-sites that might take a couple of years. But just think about being an account rep selling to Texas State, even selling to St. Edwards. You're going to have multiple departments. You're going to have multiple contacts. You're going to have a lot of people to interact with, and you're going to be dealing with them at all sorts of levels. You know, we have a on-site in Seguin called Alamo Industrial. That's one of our oldest active on-sites in Texas. It's over 10 years old, and our on-site account rep there has the green light and the relationship there to really walk into the president's office, president of the company, his office any day, any time he wants to without an appointment. So on a regular basis, he's dealing with the president, the other executives, purchasing directors, maintenance guys. He's dealing with every level of that organization, and that really gives you a pretty busy, pretty active environment where you're in the office, you're in the warehouse, you're in a lot of other areas of the facility and doing different things. And so I think all the long-term elements that we've ever looked at in our traditional store employees, we look for the same qualities in our on-sites, because the different element here is when you're outside sales and you think, what's the fastest way that I grow my business? I'm going to go and land 3 more big accounts, right? And when you're inside with an on-site and you're in one customer, you probably early on in the relationship get the lay of the land of how you're going to grow your business and who you're going to go to. And what happens is that first year you've got rapid growth, right? And second year, third year, maybe it's still rapid growing. But when you get into the position that Alamo Ironworks in Seguin is 10 years, how do you continue to grow that? Well, part of that comes from the customer's growth as they expand product lines and they do other things. That's gonna transgress your growth as well. But you have to find new and creative ways to go in there and say, hey, you know what? 10 years ago, we didn't really have this product line, and we weren't very good at it. But our company's evolving, and our pricing is better, and our structure is better, and we've got inventory in this. Let me have a shot at trying to quote these hydraulic fittings or these end mills that maybe we quoted in the past that we didn't have that opportunity. That I want to circle around and see if that's an opportunity that we can bring in more value on. And so it's not necessarily an on-site guy that's just going to work in a factory and you know, work the nuts and bolts, but it's an on-site person that's going to go in and prove themselves and figure out creative ways of improving that business, improving those services, finding new ways to grow, and then hopefully set themselves up for store manager positions on the street if that's more something they want to do, or district manager or industrial or something in national accounts corporately. There's a lot of places to go from there too. And Andrew, it's got me really excited because you know me, I'm pretty enthusiastic about the opportunity. I've seen so many people go part-time, full-time, you know, district, regionals, our executives in our company started in the roles I told you about. And it's good in kind of my time to be able to see a program like on-site just it's going to explode, this thing, and it's going to create so much opportunity. And I've got my 3 to fill and lots of roles and opportunities. So I'd like to use some St. Edward students to do that for sure.
And to recap, you said there's currently full-time openings in North Austin and Cedar Park?
North Austin and Cedar Park, yes, sir. And those are both sales associate positions, which is that sales training program for outside sales. And so those are posted right now, and I don't have them on the St. Edward's page. They just went live this morning, but I will send that info with links over to you guys too. And then the on-sites aren't signed yet, so those are still unofficial openings. But the second those agreements and those contracts are signed, first task for me is to post the positions and start interviewing for those roles too. So lots of opportunities, and we're part-time in pretty much every store I've mentioned. We have part-time opportunities. So if you live there close to campus, there's South Austin opportunities in that branch. If you live further south, there's opportunities in San Marcos, and then all the northern North Austin, Pflugerville, Cedar Park, Georgetown, we've got opportunities up there as well.
And in terms of like the sales training program, is Fastenal competitive, or would you consider Fastenal competitive in salary in some of those similar type of programs?
I think so. The way I can be specific, right? I can talk about that, how much it is, right? So for us, we're going to put you in that sales training plan, and we don't want to pressure you with a sales goal and a quota. So with that same sense, we're also not going to offer a commission directly tied to your book of business during that point. So what you're going to get is about a 40-hour-a-week job that's going to help you go through training, and it's going to amount to about $2,300 a month base salary. In addition to that, you are going to have some commission that is really tied to the overall success of the store. So if the store has a good month and if it grows, there's going to be a little bit of a perk added on top of that. But it's not until you go into the regular outside sales where you get a bump in base. You'll get a $2,500 a month salary, and then you have a commission structure tied specifically to what your accounts do. And so the kind of the most easy way to explain that, the way the commission works is 2%, 6%. So we're going to give you a warm book of business. So we're not going to just set you up with nothing until you go get all your money on your own. You're going to have some accounts. And so if that group of accounts that we give you did $20,000 in sales this month last year, that's where your growth starts, is at $20,000. And so if this month you're up against 20, and this month you do 35,000 in sales, you're going to get a 2% commission on the first 20,000. And then on that last 15,000, you're going to get a 6% commission tied to that. And then there's other bonuses, incentives based off, margin, collections, everything else that kind of goes into it. But that kind of gives you a real good idea of what to expect sales-wise. And kind of the thing on my mind on pay, if, you see how many opportunities that I have, I'm only one district. If you're open to Texas, there's 250 stores. If you're open to everywhere in the United States, now you're over to 2,700 stores. We're hiring pretty much at a rate that I'm hiring times 200 other districts in this company. And so we're providing a lot of opportunity and a lot of avenues to get your foot in the door. And I know there's a lot of companies that probably pay more in that first or second year, but they're hiring a much smaller amount of people. And then I kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but think about that same role 5 years from now, what it can be. And for me, in your shoes and being in the same place, 5 years from graduation, put me in a district manager role, which really improved my standing with this company, improved my compensation, improved a lot of things. And so, it's really, if you comparatively, and there's opportunities, you have to do what's. But I think a lot of times that doesn't always mean more money in the first year. I think it means opportunity and advancement potential down the road and down the line. But to answer the question, yes, it's fair.
No, you answered, I think, what the real question was, so perfect.
Sure.
I think we're about at time, so thank you, Greg, so much for participating today. For anybody that is logged in right now and continues to have questions about Fastenal or needs help with application materials, please come see us in the Career and Professional Development Office in Moody Hall 134. You certainly can contact us via email or give us a call, and we'll be more than happy to help you. So again, thank you, Greg, and we hope that many of you found this very helpful, and perhaps we'll find some great career opportunities at Fastenal. Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew.